outside looking in with my business goggles, I think the WNBA is bankrupt. Oh, I think they hella bankrupt. I think they been bankrupt. I think it's so bankrupt that the owners is just using the WNBA as a tax write-off. They gotta be. It gotta be a tax write-off. It is dead cap over there, bro. It gotta be. Could you imagine?
And those numbers, by the way, they come directly from a New York Post investigation that was published back in October 2024. And what they reveal is a picture that most casual sports fans have probably never even seen. NBA team owners currently control nearly 60% of the WNBA directly. But get this, when you factor in their personal stakes in individual WNBA franchises on top of that, that number of control jumps up to roughly 75%.
Investors is looking like they're ready to pull the plug on the WNBA. That says WNBA will lose $40 million this season, and its investors are growing impatient. They've been impatient. While the WNBA is getting sold-out crowds from the finals between the New York Liberty and Minnesota Lynx. Now, this is from a year or two ago. It says the NBA owns nearly 60% of the league. When one combines the NBA owners' personal stake in WNBA teams, the WNBA itself and the amount rises to 75%.
So let's really talk about what that actually means in the real world. Because while everybody has been rightfully focused on the CBA negotiations and the intense debates over revenue sharing, there is a much bigger and more fundamental question just hanging over this entire league. How much longer are the people who are writing the checks willing to keep writing them when there's no profit in sight?
For the W comes this year. I think, this is just my personal opinion, I think that's why they're holding out. The ladies want some of that $2 billion media right there. Here's the thing. We don't know how the media right deal is going to look because viewership is down. My viewership's still down. Certain creators getting their views back, but the audience so wishy-washy, it'll make you not even want to cover the W.
And that's not some kind of over-the-top hyperbole. That's a business owner looking directly at the financial books and just calling it exactly what it is. And honestly, when you really start to dig into the actual numbers, it's incredibly hard to argue with that stark assessment. Think about this for a second. The WNBA has been operating at a financial loss for 28 consecutive years. We're not talking about bad quarters. We're not talking about off and on fiscal periods. We are talking about 28 complete full years of nothing but red ink on the
out the gate. As soon as you type this in on Google, they're not profitable. The WNBA is operating at a significant annual loss, subsidized by the NBA, with estimates of losses ranging from $10 million to $50 million yearly. So they're losing this money yearly, bro. See, that was last year. So that New York Post article was from 2024. 2025, this is right now. They're guaranteed to lose that every year.
But here is the part that makes this situation particularly complicated and frankly a little confusing. The league has just wrapped up what absolutely should have been its massive breakthrough season. The Caitlin Clark effect drove an unprecedented amount of attention to the sport. Attendance records didn't just get broken, they were shattered. Playoff games were selling out left and right. And yet, even with all of that incredible momentum
on the NBA funding, that's what I was telling you, it's basically a tax write-off for the owners. With reported losses around $10 million annually, historically, and potentially $40 to $50 million in 2024, revenue has increased significantly. With projections near $100 million to $200 million, but expenses remain higher, keeping it in the red, guys. There is no saving the W. They've been running negative. They should have been.
The WNBA doesn't just owe the NBA a little bit of money. According to sources who have direct first-hand knowledge of the league's financials, the debt is so incredibly substantial that even with the massive new media rights deal on the horizon, the league is not expected to see any kind of windfall profits for years to come. One NBA team owner put it in the most blunt terms possible, saying they're ecstatic to just toe the polls and get out.
or something at this point. The owners is trying. I get the owners that. They're trying to get y'all something. But at this point, y'all acting like y'all been just the hottest thing since sliced bread. And that's just not it's the case. Y'all been operating as a loss. Now y'all talking about all these great people and all these people that came before Caitlyn. Well, if they were so great, why y'all ain't making no money? Why come y'all haven't made no money? Now, this is no disrespect.
And if those growth projections just don't materialize, I mean, if the 2025 season doesn't maintain, or even better, exceed the incredible numbers from 2024, that contract starts to look very, very different. Not legally, of course. The paper is signed, but practically it changes everything, because you can bet there will be a renegotiation down the line, and the leverage in that room shifts entirely if the audience simply isn't there to back up the price.
To any of the ladies that came before Caitlyn or any of that, I'm not sitting here trying to state that, but I'm saying if it was on the up and up, y'all would be balling, but y'all ain't. Y'all bankrupt. Guys, get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this one, man. Make sure you guys keep them bells on. I got some liquidator report video.
That $2 billion figure you've heard about is very real. The WNBA's new media rights package, which was negotiated as a key part of the NBA's much broader television deal, officially kicks in for the 2026 season. And on paper, it looks like truly transformative money. The exact kind of deal that should fundamentally change the league's entire financial trajectory for the better. But there's a critical, and I mean absolutely critical, detail that's getting lost in all the celebration. The viewership is already starting to decline again. The Caitlyn Clark bump was an undeniable phenomenon during the regular season, but here's the kicker. Once the playoffs started and she wasn't on the court playing, the numbers dropped off significantly. The WNBA Finals, the league's premier event, averaged about 1.6 million viewers across all of its games. Now, for some context, a single regular season Indiana Fever game back in September pulled in 2.5 million viewers on a completely random Tuesday night. Let me be clear, media companies do not. This is all happening right now, in real time. The league is, for all intents and purposes, effectively guaranteed to lose a substantial amount of money every single year. So let's really break down what's actually happening with the finances, because this is where the story gets incredibly interesting and reveals the core of the problem. According to the official financial disclosures and some deep dive industry reporting from giants like ESPN and the Sports Business Journal, the WNBA's total revenue for 2024 is projected to land somewhere between 100. Sponsorship deals are way up. Ticket sales absolutely broke records. Merchandise was flying off the shelves like never before. But here's the catch. The expenses grew even faster than the revenue did. You see, the league made a huge and necessary expansion to its travel accommodations after years and years of intense criticism about players having to fly commercial. The marketing spending also increased dramatically as they tried to capitalize on this massive cultural moment. It's this very context that makes the current CBA negotiations so incredibly contentious. The players have already extended the opt-out deadline, which means they still hold the powerful option to go on strike before the 2025 season even begins. And the core issue here isn't just about salary caps or better travel conditions anymore. No, it's about the fundamental principles of revenue sharing and direct profit participation. The simple operational costs for 12 professional teams, even when they have favorable arena sharing agreements with their NBA counterparts, are incredibly high, and player salaries, while they are still far below NBA levels, did increase under the terms of the current CBA. So when you run all of those numbers, you end up right back where you started, at a $40 to $50 million loss for the year. And here's the part that should genuinely concern everyone who is involved, from the owners to the players to the fans. This past season was, without a doubt, the single best season the league has ever had from a pure attention standpoint. So what happens in 2025 if Caitlin Clark gets injured, or if a rising star like Angel Reese doesn't develop as quickly as everyone expects? Or, and this is the big one, the players, understandably, want a significant piece of that $2 billion media deal. They see that massive number as a validation that their product has immense value and that the long-term investment is finally starting to pay off. From their perspective, they are the ones who created that value with their talent and hard work, and you know what? They're not wrong. But the owners are looking at the exact same situation through a completely different and far more skeptical lens. They have been the ones subsidizing massive losses for nearly 3 decades straight. They've absorbed $40 million annual deficits year after year, while being told to just be patient, to keep investing in growth, and to trust the long-term process. And now, just when there's finally a conceivable path to actual profitability on the horizon, the players want to fundamentally restructure the entire deal. From a pure cold hard business standpoint, you can absolutely understand their frustration. Let's be very clear about something: NBA owners are not running a charity. These are savvy, often ruthless business people who have collectively invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this league with absolutely no financial return.